Hey, missing listeners. This is an episode that we wanted to replay. There still hasn't been any update on this case. It's the disappearance of Davohnte Morgan from May 5th, 2020 from Mount Shasta, California. And it's a really tragic story, and we were lucky enough to speak with Davohnte's mom, Terri, in this interview that we're about to replay. This originally aired on Missing in November of 2022, so it's been a while, and we like to replay these episodes when it's been a while. And if you have any information, please contact the Mount Shasta Police Department at 530-926-7540. Okay, I'm going to throw it to the original intro now. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Welcome back to Missing. I am Tim, here today with Lance. Lance, how are you today?
Doing great today, Tim. I'm really excited to listen to this episode because I wasn't on it. And you had texted after you were done, and you said that this was an incredible conversation with an incredible person. So I'm excited to hear it, but I'm also excited to hear how you're doing today.
Thank you. I am doing great today. Excited to bring this episode, this conversation to our airwaves. Yeah, it was just me and Terri. Terri is Davohnte Van Morgan's mom, and we had double booked ourselves, so we split up our interviews. So that's why it was just me in this one. And it was a fascinating conversation, Lance, about a guy who seems like a great guy. Davohnte Morgan went missing on May 5th, 2020 from Mount Shasta, California. He was born in 1992 in San Francisco, 5'11", 165 pounds. He's an African-American man who was 28 years old when he went missing. His mom speaks glowingly of him, says he's got a lot of friends. His nickname is Vontae, and that's Vohnte. The circumstances of his disappearance is kind of crazy, honestly. He lives in San Francisco, but he went missing hundreds of miles away, and there's some confusing travel involved in the story. And a lot of the conversation is really kind of trying to pin down a timeline as best as I could from Terri and about this case. And it seems confusing. It seems like there could be people lying. It seems like there are definitely people not being fully open about what happened to Davohnte.
Well, again, I'm really looking forward to listening to this. And if anybody has any information, the contact would be the Mount Shasta Police Department. That's correct?
Yes.
And the number for them is 530-926-7540. And again, yeah, really looking forward to this.
Yeah, my heart goes out to Terri, who is dealing with Davonte's disappearance and isn't getting much help from the Mount Shasta Police Department as well. So it would be great if they responded to her and didn't accuse her of harassing them, which I find just kind of a tragic element in this case.
Yeah, you were telling me that after you got done that they were telling her to stop harassing them, which is unbelievable. I mean, for sure, yeah, our hearts go out to her and the frustration she must feel knowing that the organization that should be looking into a very fresh missing person case, 2020, was only a couple of years ago. There's still plenty of information out there. You would hope that there would be more of a relationship that is productive between the two parties. And again, I don't think that she's making that up. I don't think that that's a word she pulled out of the blue and is trying to use against the police department as like a slur. I'm sure she's being very assertive, trying to find her son, and that's understandable.
And we met Terri on TikTok, who messaged us and asked for some coverage. And you can follow Terri on TikTok at Mama T. That's MAMATEE 415. And she's posted a lot of videos about Davonte's disappearance. Please follow us on social media at Missing CSM. We're going to take a quick break here for commercial, and we'll be right back with Davonte's mom, Terri. Terri, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about Davohnte?
The way you pronounce his name is Davohnte. A lot of us seem to get lazy and forget how to pronounce his name correctly, but I can hear him saying to me, Mom, that's not my name. My name is Davohnte. Okay, so let's get that straight right now.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you. He's my oldest child, my best friend. Everybody loves him. The whole neighborhood loves him. He doesn't have any children, but he's really close with his niece and nephew. He's a funny guy, very entertaining. He has an unforgettable laugh, and he's a child of God. He loves the Lord.
And how many siblings does he have?
Davohnte has 2 brothers and 1 sister.
And where did he grow up?
He grew up in San Francisco, California, to Haight-Ashbury.
And has he lived there most of his life?
All his life. We was born and raised in this one house. Never left. He never left. Davohnte never left. He was always afraid of leaving his surroundings. And at his age, I was like, when I was your age, I would get out and I would go and see things, and so I always, kind of like try to pressure him to, see a little bit more than San Francisco.
Why was he afraid to leave his surroundings?
Because of missing people. He's always had this feeling that something was going to happen to him. It's like his worst nightmare.
So that was something that he spoke about, his fear of going missing?
Yeah. And he didn't want to go anywhere. Whenever I would literally have to talk him into going anywhere out of town with me. I told him, if just make sure, you go with someone you can trust. With that being said, he was still afraid. He still was afraid to go anywhere. That really concerned me when I got a call from him, and he was in Tahoe. Lake Tahoe.
And so Lake Tahoe's a considerable distance from San Francisco.
Yes. So what had happened was, to my understanding, what he told me when I spoke to him was the girlfriend gave him one too many drinks, and she drove off with him.
She drove off with him?
Mm-hmm. And when he woke up.
With him in the car?
Yeah, and when he woke up, he was in Lake Tahoe.
Okay, so Davohnte and his girlfriend were having some drinks near their home in San Francisco. She gave him more than he's used to, and he woke up in Tahoe?
Yeah, yes.
Tell me about his girlfriend.
Filipino, to my understanding. Short girl, everything always seemed funny to her. Nothing bothered her, she was just free. Older woman, close to my age, that raised a red flag. We saw little signs of her not being, to us, all the way there. And we tried to kind of like tell Davohnte, but, I don't know. Maybe he didn't see it, We've seen several incidents where we could tell that she might not have been all the way there upstairs.
Interesting. And what did you try to, in what way did you try to tell Davohnte?
I tried to sit down and talk to him. We even showed him things that, she did. Like my mom was in the middle of trying to sell her house, and she draws all these weird pictures on her window. And, it's just weird things she would do. Not a normal adult would do. Maybe a 3-year-old kid, 4-year-old, but not an adult.
What kind of pictures?
Flowers and rainbows, butterflies.
Okay. Was Davohnte a big drinker? Did he drink often?
Yes. We had a loss in our family, and we had a lot of losses. So, it caused him to start drinking a little more than normal.
Okay, so during this period, he was grieving and drinking a little bit more than normal.
Yes.
Did those losses affect the way Davohnte had been feeling?
Yes.
his behavior and things like that too, besides drinking?
Yes.
Okay. In which other ways?
Just like sad all the time, and I mean grieving, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry for your losses. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Davohnte also went missing right around the start of the pandemic. Did
Yes.
did the lockdown and everything like that came with, did that have some impact on his mental health as well?
I think so. Yes, I definitely think so. I know so.
Okay, yeah, I definitely remember it being like an especially paranoid time, and people kind of needing to just get away in some way, just kind of try to not deal with it.
Right.
As far as the area that Davohnte was in, Lake Tahoe and the Mount Shasta area, that was not an area that he ever expressed interest in going to or anything like that?
No. No, he never wanted to go anywhere. Yeah, no, he never wanted to go there. I don't know. It's a little hard. I don't know. This interview is a little harder for me because it's been so long and so much has happened in between.
Well, yeah, feel free to tell me what happened in between. He's been missing
Okay.
over 2 years. Yeah.
He's been missing over 2 years, and we have gotten very, 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 very little help from law enforcement. In the year 2021, a lot of people came up missing up there in Mount Shasta. Recently, a young man came up missing, and they found him. So I just feel like my son's case is just, it never got taken seriously in the first place. They let a lot of evidence go. Everything that I tried to express to them, they never took it seriously. At one point, they told us they only have like 8 members of the law enforcement total, and they wouldn't accept outside help. I mean, I don't know where else to go with this. My thing is like basically the girlfriend. My focus is on her because she has harassed us. I mean, everybody, friends, family, anybody that probably is black, from San Francisco. They might not even be related to us. I'm getting messages talking about, she's harassing people. So not only the things the evidence that we tried to give them against her, they didn't look into it. They also suspected her from the beginning, and she's just basically she's running around living her best life, fancy free, while stalking us.
Wow. And she still lives nearby?
I don't know. I can't honestly say where she is. One minute she could be in she's cited in San Francisco. Another minute she's cited in San Diego. Sometimes she goes back up to Mount Shasta, weed. And it ain't no telling where she is.
Okay. And was there a specific business that Davonte's girlfriend was into or something like that?
I don't know. I can't tell you much about her except for, I mean, I know she was a single mom supposedly, with children of her own.
Did Davohnte ever meet those children?
Yes.
And you met the girlfriend and a few times?
Mm-hmm. And her 2 oldest children came up to get her up in Mount Shasta because she had a mental meltdown.
Does she have a history of mental illness?
Yes. Come to find out, she do.
Okay. And how long had she and Davohnte been seeing each other?
Well, let's see. They met in July of 2019. He came up missing in May. So May of 2020.
Okay. So they spent a lot of time together for those 8 or so months?
Yeah, pretty much every day. Every day they were together pretty much.
And did Davohnte have a lot of other friends?
Yes, Davohnte has lots of other friends. I mean, we have a whole wide of community that came up looking for him.
Good. And none of his other friends heard from him or knew why he was in that area?
No. Okay. So this was after I talked to him. After he was in Lake Tahoe, he talked to a friend and he told a friend that he was thinking about going somewhere, thinking about it. And that was the last time any of our loved ones spoke. Wait, I take that back. My middle son talked to him one time after that. So once they got to Mount Shasta, she sends, and I had the video. We could probably still find it somewhere, but she sends my middle son this video of Davohnte, and he's kind of like out of it, and she thinks it's funny, and she's saying, Davohnte smoked marijuana. He's 420, happy, I guess, and that's probably one of the things that interested everybody about up north. She sent him a video of Vontae kind of out of it, talking about, look at him, look at your brother or whatever. And she was like, up here, the shrooms are so good, and Davohnte hates shrooms. She said the shrooms are so good and so mild that you could put them in somebody's blunt and they would never know. And this video, she sent it to my son. My son spoke to Davohnte after that, and his last words to his brother was this: bitch, did it again. My middle child asked Davohnte, how did he get up there? And he said, the B did it again. So basically, she drugged him, put shrooms in his blunt, and got him messed up and drove up to Mount Shasta, and he woke up in Mount Shasta.
Wow. Okay, so based on his statement, it sounds like she's definitely done it before too,
right?
Obviously, to get him to that point, and then. But were there other experiences? Does it sound like?
Yes, she definitely done this before. She said she never been up to Mount Shasta, but there's video of her on the back roads and doing some of everything. Like, she knows the town way too well. She told me that he went up there for a spiritual healing, and when he came down, he was going to be a preacher. So to my understanding, Mount Shasta is a place where a lot of people go get closer to God at the top of this mountain, but they never make it up there because of all the riffraff at the bottom of the mountain.
What do you mean by riffraff?
I mean, just some of everything, my belief is, if you believe in good and evil, wherever good is, there evil will dwell.
Right. Davohnte was religious to you as well. This was not something that she had made up or anything.
Yeah, no. Davohnte was out of my 4 children, he was always in church on Sunday morning. He's going to be the one that's in church.
Okay. And did he express interest in being a preacher before?
Yes. And she knew that.
Okay, so not completely out of character for him. So when you spoke to him last, was that when he told you that he got drunk, or that his girlfriend helped get him drunk and then he woke up there?
I said, what you doing in what are you doing in Lake Tahoe? He was like, oh, Mom, and just laughed it off like that.
Okay. And did he have his own phone at that time?
Yes.
He did?
Yes. He called me from his phone, which at some point in time, she went from Lake Tahoe back to the Bay Area to Mount Shasta. My nephew had passed away, so it was a funeral he needed to go to. So during that time, to my understanding, she told us that she threw his phone. They got into an argument and she threw it. So she broke his phone, and knowing that he didn't have a phone, she took him way up into these mountains without a form of communication.
And we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Thanks to our sponsors, and now we're back to the program. Okay, so sorry, let me just get the timeline a little bit straight in my head. So they were drinking in San Francisco, woke up in Tahoe. He still had his phone. You spoke with him, and then your nephew passed away back in San Francisco. They drove back that way, and some point during that drive is when she broke his phone.
Sometime during that visit in San Francisco, because in the Bay Area, because the last ping is, I believe, Oakland, California was where he last used it.
And how soon was that before he went missing?
Probably like a day before. Yeah, it had to. Yeah, it had to be the day before, like around the 4th.
Okay, so then they went back to Lake Tahoe, and then his girlfriend sent the video of him to his brother.
They went from San Francisco, from the Bay Area. They drove up to Mount Shasta, and that's when she sent the video from Mount Shasta.
Okay. I think I was getting confused, thinking that Mount Shasta and Tahoe were the same, were in the exact same area, but they're so still 100 or so miles between the two.
At least.
Okay. And was his girlfriend religious too?
No.
No, okay.
No, not at all.
But she was encouraging Davohnte to travel alone up to the top of Mount Shasta?
No, she was with him.
She was with him.
Mm-hmm. So she claimed, yeah. It wasn't something he was going to do by himself. She always made fun and mocked our religion.
She did?
Yes.
Well, that's why I'm confused why she was encouraging this sort of pilgrimage, if you will, to Mount Shasta.
Thank you. Yes. Nothing she does makes sense.
So, and then she was with him on the hike at Mount Shasta to try to make it to the top of the mountain?
No, they never went hiking. They never
made it.
They never made it.
Okay. So then where did he go missing? I know there's some surveillance on the street.
Okay. So this is my thing. They got him on walking on surveillance and some flip-flops, not ready for hiking. To my understanding, they got into a fight. Knowing Davohnte, he just wanted to get out of there. So they showed him walking one way on surveillance. This the part that hurts me the most. I'm not going to say the most, but once they seen him walk past one way, they stopped watching the surveillance. Later on, I find out that they said, oh, well, we decided to watch the rest of the surveillance. And this was months later. He walked back the opposite way 15 minutes later. So I don't know why. So that's another negligence on their part, because I don't understand how you can see somebody go one way and just say, okay, that's it. I'm going to stop watching the tape, instead of sitting and watching and waiting for him to go back the other way. And then once he went back the other way, there's no more sighting of him. He just like vanished.
Wow. Was he heading back towards the hotel?
It looks like to me that's what he was trying to find his way back to the hotel. He was just like parallel. I've walked the walk so many times. He was just parallel. He was on the parallel street. But I guess certain parts of that area probably wasn't the safest place for a Black man to walk alone. I'm sorry to have to say that.
Yeah, I guess what do you mean by that?
Let's just say Mount Shasta's percentage of Black population is 1% Black.
Okay, so he has an argument with his girlfriend in the hotel room. He goes for a walk down the street. 15 minutes or so goes by. He comes back towards the hotel room. We don't know if he stopped there, but he went back towards that way, and he has not been seen since. Okay,
so this she says this is what she told us. She said her and Davohnte got into a fight. And they separated. She went and watched the sunset, the sunrise. They passed each other, and the town is not that big, she passed each other, they locked eyes, and that was the last time she saw him. Would be in front of this hardware store that's probably like 2.5, maybe 3 blocks away from the hotel.
Does that story sound right to you?
No, no, it definitely don't. Nothing she says makes sense.
Right. So she said at sunrise, and I take it it's on the 5th of May.
Mm-hmm.
So on sunrise, they were walking on the street, across the street, I guess, from each other, and they looked at each other but didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Davohnte's got no phone and no vehicle,
No, nothing.
and he didn't try to talk to her per her, and she didn't try to talk to him. So says her.
Yeah, so says her.
Well, that part, yeah, that really doesn't make much sense. In your opinion, having been there, where could he have gone?
I don't know. I have not a clue. I know that we had friends up there, well, so-called friends. I know that he went and visited them, and they didn't tell me. When I saw them, they act like it was something new to them that Davohnte had was in town, which it wasn't, because a neighbor had spotted Davohnte at his house, at their house, and the girlfriend at their house. So there's other people involved.
And they're acquaintances of the girlfriend, or they're old family friends or something?
They're acquaintances of ours from the neighborhood.
Back in San Francisco.
Back in San Francisco, yes.
Okay. And so their main affiliation is with you and Davohnte, and not so much the girlfriend.
Right.
And did Davohnte and the girlfriend visit them when they were up there right around that time?
Yes. They found Davonte's shoes. Davonte's shoes was in the house. We had to get the police to go up there because they had his shoes. She was giving away all his property. When we got there, she was giving away everything, and she gave this guy a pair of his shoes, but he was like, I didn't want them. I tried to give them back to him. So when we went to, the guy is supposed to be the acquaintance. When we went to go try to get the shoes back, his wife wouldn't give them back to us.
Wow.
She snatched the shoes back and said, Davonte's dead. Now, to my understanding, the guy, we're more closer to the guy. He told me that and his girlfriend had left one night, the night he came up missing, supposedly came up missing. They left that night and didn't come back until the middle of the night. She shut him up. And then after that, anytime we tried to get any information out of them, they play crazy.
So they act like they don't know anything after that?
Mm-hmm. The guy, the acquaintances from San Francisco, he has a wife. We're not really that close with the wife. We're close with the guy. Actually, me and the wife don't really get along, but for Davonte's sake, I tried to, be friends with her. My friend's wife and took a ride the day that Davohnte came up missing. He don't know where they went, and they went early the evening and came back late at night, in the middle of the night. And he was like, I don't know where they went. I don't know what they did, but he went to try to tell us everything. And the wife stopped him, was like, no, and start talking. And then we tried to get any more information out of him. The wife already seemed to be not all the way there. Now he's playing crazy too. So all three of them are playing like they're not in their right minds now.
Do you have any thought on what a potential motivation could be if someone wanted to hurt him?
Yes, they were fighting over another girlfriend. Davonte's ex, his high school sweetheart, he always stay in touch with her. And I guess that's they had been texting each other. And Jennifer was so upset about that, to the point she called my mom. She called San Francisco, yelling and screaming, whatever, ranting and raving. The interesting part about the ex-girlfriend, and they broke up. That was the main reason why they broke up, because he was still texting her. And she broke up with Davohnte this time. Usually he breaks up with her. But this time she was so fed up that she broke up with him. Now, this girlfriend came up to Mount Shasta to help look for him. And then all of a sudden, we thought she's driving behind us, and then she disappears. Just disappear out of nowhere. She won't talk to us. She won't. I know she ain't missing, because people seen her, but she won't talk to us. She done blocked us on every aspect, from the phones to social media. She will not say nothing to us. I don't know what happened. She was following us behind us, and then all of a sudden she disappears. And she's no longer behind us. Now she's have family up in the reservations up there. And she answered one time and said she was visiting family members, and after that, no communication whatsoever, which I find it really weird, because she's going to communicate with my mother no matter what. And her and my daughter were best friends, and she won't even communicate with her.
Do you think it's possible she was threatened in some way?
Yes, did threaten her. I know she did. She told me. Oh, we know that.
What did she say?
She's going to get her and stuff like that.
Because of like sort of a love triangle, or because...
Mm-hmm. Definitely a love triangle. And she just hated.
Okay, so they had disputes and she had threatened her before Davohnte went missing.
Yes.
Okay.
And to my understanding, she was messaging her when we were up in Mount Shasta.
So do you think it's possible she got a message while she was with you, following you?
That's what I think.
And we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Thanks to our sponsors, and now we're back to the program. Yeah, what is next for your search for Davohnte?
I don't know what to do anymore. I need help. I need all the help I can get. I don't know. We had a PI that got very expensive. Can't afford that anymore. And then, it sound like we might need a lawyer. I did everything far as putting up posters and flyers and having everyone sharing. And, I don't know what else to do. I kept calling Mount Shasta Police Department. One point they really got sick of me, and they told me to stop harassing them.
They told you to stop harassing them?
Yes.
No, I can't imagine you were calling them, harassing them. You were calling them about where your son is.
So at this point, like, I have no communication with them, and I think my daughter has spoken to them, but basically they cold casing my son, while the suspects and people that are involved are just living their best life.
Wow. Are there any areas that you can think of to search in that vicinity, and have there been any organized searches?
There has been. They did have the search volunteers come out and look in wooded areas and the lakes and stuff, and they haven't found anything. I know that this is impossible, but I would love to search some of these Indian reservations. Who knows? He could be up there hiding. We don't know. Maybe he's scared of this one. Maybe he knows. Like, I don't know. It was just something weird about the ex-girlfriend coming up there and then going up to the reservation. That's my hope. I wish that we could search them, but I know that they do things a whole lot different than, the rest of the city. They have their own government or whatever up there. I wish that Mount Shasta would accept outside help. That's what I wish. They're a small force. Okay, you guys, if you can't handle it, I'm not saying that you can't, but if you can't handle it, accept the help.
Yeah. And who is offering help?
Well, I know that the state police wanted to help, but they was only able to do so much because I think they said it's a jurisdiction thing.
Yeah, I definitely would imagine the state police have many more resources. Did the police department have any contact with your private investigator?
Yes, they did.
Was there any helpful information passing back and forth?
No.
And what kind of things was your private investigator? Were they able to interview people?
They interviewed a couple of people, yes.
They had information that they perceived as helpful that they tried to turn over to the Mount Shasta Police? No?
No.
Okay, well, is there anything else you'd like to say here today on this interview?
Davohnte being missing has really affected us all, from the babies to, I can't sleep at night. I need my friend back. I need my baby back. And the rest of the family is having such a hard time. Our community is in disbelief. This really has affected a lot of lives.